Hi, this is Adam, also known as Adam Tilted. Welcome to Rules of Engagement. Chat about what to do around people with disabilities, in case you don't know. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, in case we don't know each other. I am 45 years old. I spent most of my professional career as a public school teacher and administrator. And then after moving to Texas about 6 years ago, I did some corporate training. And then I acquired this balance disorder that I'm going to talk about. That happened about 5 years ago. So I'm going to share this out real quick. And if you want to share this out, that would be great as well. And I was originally going to use Be Live for this broadcast, but something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but I cannot even connect to their website. So I'm doing it this way instead, and I hope that's not messing anybody up. All right. Hi, Eric. Welcome. This I want to be just real casual, real laid back. Grab yourself a beverage. I'm having chamomile tea. Chamomile? I don't know. And I'm going to talk about my personal experience of being in a wheelchair and some tips for you for how to interact around someone who's in a wheelchair. Now, I want to clarify I realized that when I was giving some of these tips before, and I don't remember where it was. It might have been on Snapchat. It might have been on here. I can't remember. But I said that you shouldn't squat down to be level with the person with a disability. But that's exactly what you should do. What I meant was, I don't want you bending down over me. We'll talk more about that as we go through this. But just in general, the basics of dealing with really anybody, I would say, is treat them like you would anybody else. See the person, not the disability. Don't focus on what's different about them, because in many cases that's the least interesting part about them. Ask before you help. That's a big one. Try not to make assumptions and focus on what people can do. I'm going to talk more about each of those and give some real life examples in upcoming episodes. But a couple of things about wheelchairs specifically, since I am a wheelchair user. Many people make the assumption that because I am in a wheelchair that I do not have the use of my legs or that I cannot walk, when that is not true. I use a wheelchair because, hi everyone. So I'm just explaining, we're having a casual conversation. Grab yourself a beverage. I've got some tea. And I'm going to talk about my own experience in a wheelchair. Okay. So, I have a balance disorder. So I can stand, I can walk with a cane, but it's a lot of work. So, wheelchair allows me to not have to focus so much energy on just trying not to fall down, basically. So, Katie, did you still want to come in? I don't know if I can I even invite you? I can't. Can't do either of you. Okay. Well, Be Live has a problem. I don't know what it is, but I can't even connect to the website because it's some application error or something. But anyway, back to being in a wheelchair. So a lot of people assume that I don't have the use of my legs, and so then if I move my leg, some people freak out. Like I had an Uber driver that totally freaked out. He thought that I had been healed. And then I also had someone else act like I was faking it. She went by and said, I saw his foot move. Well, yeah, I can move my foot. I wanted to wheel around and show her how far I could move my foot, but I was trying to be nice. Yes, I'm on Facebook Live on my phone because I couldn't get Be Live to work. So I have it ready to invite anyone in who wants to talk about their own experiences with disabilities. That would be awesome. So, when you are talking to someone in a wheelchair, it is a good idea for you to squat down or sit down so that you are level with the person. Because otherwise, I'm doing this while I'm looking at you, and that hurts my neck after a while. And if it's not appropriate for you to squat down, at the least take a step back, because then I don't have to look as far up. So I'm seeing all these comments. Let me see. I don't see. I see Jennifer and I see Katie, but neither one of you I can invite. But that's all I see right now. And it says +1, but I don't know who the +1 is. It's a mystery person. So yeah, it doesn't look like I can invite anyone in. Okay. Well, we'll have to work on that. Hopefully Be Live will be fixed soon, because that will solve the problem. But I'm really excited about this show. First of all, let me just stop talking about myself for a second and talk about this show in general. Because over the course of the next several weeks, I am going to be bringing you a lot of information about just how to get around those awkward situations where you encounter someone with a disability and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, you know? I also I have an exciting guest lineup in the works. I don't have everyone confirmed dates yet, but when I do, I will let you know. I have some exciting people that I want to talk to and let you interact with as well. So feel free, like I said, this is just real chill. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments. I can see them here, and sorry, I'm just seeing what's happening here. Okay. All right. I keep forgetting where the camera is since I have it landscape. I heard other people say that, and I was like, well, duh, the camera's right there, but it is it is a lot different. All right. So, a couple of things about the chair. I get a lot of attention being in the chair, and some of it is good and some of it is bad. I don't want to be the guy in the wheelchair. The show is about what to do around people with disabilities. So we're just going to chat about that because I am a wheelchair user. I have several disabilities. I have this balance disorder. I have disability and anxiety, depression and anxiety disorders. And I have chronic migraines, and I've been living with HIV for 18 years. So that's a lot happening. My body is this big old chemistry set. But I feel comfortable speaking out about my experiences, and I thought I could use my voice to be a voice for people who didn't feel comfortable speaking out. So that's what this show is going to be about. People say that, yeah. I had someone the other day ask me about my advocacy work, and it was something about, because I sell the health and beauty products, and that helps fund my advocacy work, and so we were talking about that. And she said, "Oh, that's great. I love to help the less fortunate." And I know what she meant well, I guess. But you don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know if I'm less fortunate than you. I feel pretty fortunate. I don't know your life either, but just to assume that everyone who has a disability is downtrodden and, homeless, beggar on the street, that's a different thing. Now, there are a lot of people with disabilities who are homeless, and that's true, but there are a lot of people with disabilities that, are not. I'm great. And I don't know. That's saying I like to help the less fortunate. That just sounds, I don't know, it just sounds kind of snobby to me. My show is about what to do around people with disabilities. We're going to get rid of the stigma, the awkwardness, so nobody feels embarrassed or gets into any awkward situations. I'm a wheelchair user, so we've been talking about my experience in the wheelchair. If you are in the position to hold the door open for someone in a wheelchair, please do. Now, there are some people that may get upset because they think that you think that they can't do it on their own. But honestly, I have never met any of those people. I hear about them, but I've never met them. So I wouldn't go by that. I say go ahead and open the door for them. And if they get mad about it, then that seems to be their problem, not your problem. You were just trying to do a nice thing. What I don't want you to do is just fawn all over me just because I'm in a wheelchair. I don't need you to constantly ask me, are you okay or whatever. Yeah, I'm fine. I can take care of myself. And if I need help, I will ask. And don't assume that I don't want to, for example, don't assume that I don't want to go out on the dance floor. I can dance in this chair. You should see me dance in this chair. I can twirl and boogie down, but people assume that, why are you going on the dance floor? Yeah. Okay, so try not to make assumptions. It is hard because we've been kind of trained. In fact, the word handicap, That is an antiquated word. You should not use that word. Because it originates from the term cap in hand, which refers to a beggar. So it has a negative connotation, the word handicapped. And we don't want to focus on the disabled part of the person either. So if it's not pertinent to the conversation and you're talking about me to somebody else, and you're talking to me, example, for about my business that I run, and you know what I'm doing in that area, the fact that I'm in a wheelchair has nothing to do with that. So saying my friend Adam who's in a wheelchair is doing this great, no. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Just like you don't need to say, oh, my friend who's black or my friend who's gay. You don't need to say those qualifier things unless it's related to the conversation, right? Now, if you wanted to say, my friend Adam advocates for people with disabilities, he uses a wheelchair and he encounters obstacles, then it's relevant to the conversation, and that's perfectly okay. But I don't want to be your gay friend in the wheelchair. No. I can be Adam Tilted, though. I'm just going to look at some of the comments here. Oh, broken leg. Ooh. Gala? That's rough. Yeah, this came out of the blue for me. Well, like I said, I've had HIV for 18 years, so that's really not an issue for me. It doesn't, except for the side effects of the medications. That's an issue. But HIV itself, I'm not in danger of getting sick from that. The depression and anxiety, of course, have been impacted by this whole dizziness situation because I've been basically homebound for a long time, and it's only recently that I've been able to keep my balance enough to get out and about and be my normal self, or the new normal, the Adam that is tilted. That's why I'm Adam Tilted, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm Adam with this balance disorder, so I'm Adam Tilted. Get it? Okay. What else? Oh. Handicap stalls. I know. See that word? It's just ingrained. I know. They're big. There's a reason they're big. It's because this wheelchair needs a lot of room to move around. Don't go in there if you don't need to. I cannot tell you how awkward it is for me to be waiting to go into the accessible stall, and then someone comes out that didn't need the accessible stall, and they are just like, which is good, because, I mean, if there are no other stalls available, I understand, but if you just want the extra leg room or whatever, that's not what it's for. What else? Oh, don't touch the chair. That's a big one for me. I get kind of testy about it. When I'm in my wheelchair, the chair is an extension of me. So, just like you wouldn't grab somebody's arm to pull them off somewhere, I don't want you to grab my wheelchair and start moving me around. That's completely rude and unacceptable. Don't do that. Other than that, look for opportunities to help them carry stuff. I'm kind of at a disadvantage at parties because I have to use my hands to roll around. Don't have anything to carry my drink with. Gayla, send me I'll send you a message after the broadcast and we'll talk about that. So it's great when it's also a great way for me to make friends, meet new people. Will you carry my drink? You know. But think about that when you're having a party. You know, just look at it from the point of view of someone who cannot manage steps, because that's not limited to just wheelchair users either. Some people who walk with a cane cannot manage steps. So I encounter steps a lot. And even our sidewalks, I thought it would be nice. I could, roll around the neighborhood. No. The sidewalks are so jacked up. The roots of the trees. I mean, there are some that are like that. They're dangerous. Someone could trip over them. And I definitely cannot roll over them. So, yeah, that's a bummer. And I found out that the homeowners are responsible for the sidewalk. So, like, I'm going to go around to every homeowner and get them to fix their sidewalk. No. So that is frustrating. And if you don't follow me on Snapchat, you should, because I often will post on my story when I encounter ridiculous accommodation issues. Like, for example, at the end of my block, if I can get over all the bumps and stuff, at the end of my block, there's a ramp, which is nice. But there's not a ramp on the other side. So I can roll out into the street. But then there's nowhere for me to go except turn around and go back where I came from. So there's a lot of stupid stuff like that. And you'll start noticing it yourself. Once we start talking about it more, you will notice those things. Look for pebbles on the sidewalks. Kick those out of the way. A pebble can ruin your whole day if you're in a chair. You're just cruising along, you hit that pebble. Oh, man, not a good time. So keep those paths clear. And I'm going to wrap it up for this time. This has been really fun. I will be here next week, maybe with a guest. I'm hoping that I can be using Be Live so I can do a little more with the graphics and stuff to show you some things. But I really look forward to having this conversation with you. And if you have any questions, you can send me a private message. Questions you're afraid to ask, I won't tell that it's you if you don't want me to, but I may answer your question on a future episode. So Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time. Spread the word. I also have another show on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. No, wait. 5 p.m. I think it's 5 p.m. Central Time. And that is about science and space. That's called What's Up with Adam Tilted. So if you are into science and space, check that out as well. I used to be a science teacher, so I'm a long time space and science geek. I love it, and I can talk about it forever. And that's not what I'm supposed to be talking about here. So, good night. Thank you for joining Rules of Engagement, and I hope I see you next week.